I retired at 62 and moved alone to the mountain house my wife and I had built 30 years ago. No traffic. No noise. Just wind through pine trees and the kind of silence that doesn't ask anything from you. For a while, it was enough. Then my son called. "Dad," Ethan said, voice casual like he was asking for a favor. "Lena's parents need a place for a few months. They're going to stay with you." I didn't answer right away. Not because I didn't understand. Because I did. "Ethan," I said finally, "that's not your decision." Pause. Then a different tone. "If you don't like it," he said flat now, "you can go back to the city." I looked around the house. My house. Built with overtime pay, years of saving, and a woman who had believed peace was something you earned. "I'll think about it," I said. But I had already decided. I didn't argue. I didn't fight. I didn't remind him whose name was on the deed or who had paid for every beam and stone in that place. I just packed a small bag, left the keys where he'd expect to find them, and drove down the mountain without telling him why. 3 days later, his in-laws arrived, unlocked the door, walked inside like they owned it, and within 10 minutes, they realized something was very wrong. My name is Victor Hale. I'm 62 and I've learned that people rarely take what you give them. They take what you don't defend. After my wife, Eleanor, passed 8 years ago, that mountain house became the last place in the world that still felt like truth. We built it ourselves, weekends, winters, arguments over window placements and wood finishes that now feel like memories carved into the walls. Every room carried her. Ethan used to understand that. Before marriage. Before Lena. Before the slow shift where my son stopped speaking to me like a father and started speaking to me like a resource. It didn't happen all at once. First it was small things. Asking me to temporarily co-sign a loan. Then borrowing money he never mentioned again. Then decisions made without me, followed by explanations instead of conversations. Lena's parents were the final step. Not because they needed help. Because they expected access. I knew the moment Ethan said, "They're moving in," that he wasn't asking. He was informing. And the moment he told me to go back to the city if I didn't like it, I understood something else. This wasn't about family. It was about control. So I didn't stay to argue. I didn't stay to defend something that should have been obvious. I left. But not before I changed the one thing in that house no one else knew existed. Because peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from preparation. The mountain house had always been simple on the surface. Stone. What people didn't see was the system underneath. I had installed it myself years ago, after Eleanor insisted we should never depend on anyone but each other for security. It wasn't complicated by modern standards, but it was complete. Independent power controls, internal locks, access overrides, and one central rule. The house only responded to the owner. Me. 3 days after I left, I received a call from an unknown number. I let it ring once, twice, then answered. "Hello. Victor," Ethan said, already irritated. "What did you do?" I leaned back in the small rental I had taken in the city, calm, steady. "I left," I said. "No," he snapped. "The house. Nothing's working. Heating system's locked. Garage won't open. The upstairs doors won't even unlock properly." I said nothing. In the background I could hear voices. Lena. Her mother. Confused. Frustrated. Then another voice, her father. "Ask him about the power." Ethan came back on sharper now. "The backup generator isn't kicking in either." "What is this?" I let a second pass before answering. "It's a private system," I said. "Installed for security." "Well, fix it," he said immediately. "Not please. Not why. Just fix it." That was when I knew I had done the right thing. Because even now, he still thought the house belonged to him. "Fix it," Ethan repeated, sharper this time. Like I was a technician he could summon. Not the man who built the place he was standing in. I let the silence stretch just long enough to force him to hear himself. "No," I said. That word landed heavier than anything else I could have said. "What do you mean no?" he snapped. "They just got there. You can't leave them like this." I closed my eyes for a moment, picturing the house. The cold stone floors. The wide windows facing the valley. The kitchen Eleanor had designed down to the last cabinet. "They shouldn't be there," I said. Pause. Then Lena's voice cut through the background, tight with irritation. "This is ridiculous. Tell him to stop being dramatic and turn it back on." There it was. No respect. No understanding. Just expectation. Ethan came back, voice lower now, controlled. "Dad, this isn't funny." "It's not supposed to be," I replied. Another silence. Then he tried a different angle. "They're my family. I almost smiled. And I'm not. I asked. That one hit. I heard it in the way he didn't answer right away. In the way the room behind him went quieter. Finally he said, "That's not what I meant." "It's exactly what you meant," I said calmly. Then I added the part he hadn't considered. "You told me to leave my own house." Now he understood. Not the system. Not the locks. The mistake. Because some lines don't trigger alarms when you cross them. They trigger consequences. And he had just stepped into one. "What do you want?" Ethan asked. Different tone now. Less command. More calculation. That shift told me everything I needed to know. I stood by the window of my rental, looking out at a city that had once felt loud but now felt distant in a different way. "I want nothing," I said. That confused him. "You shut down the house and you want nothing?" he replied. "I didn't shut it down," I said calmly. "I restricted it." There's a difference. In the background, I could hear Lena arguing with her mother. Cabinets opening. Doors being tested. Frustration rising in layers. People always notice systems, only when they stop working. "Dad," Ethan said, voice tightening, "they can't stay like this. It's freezing up here at night." I let that sit for a second. Not to be cruel. To be clear. "You moved them in without asking," I said. "You told me to leave if I didn't like it. So I did." "That's not the same thing," he shot back. "It is," I replied. "You just didn't think it would cost you anything." Silence. Then softer now, "So what, they just suffer?" There it was. The assumption that consequences only count when they affect him. "No," I said. "They leave." Another pause. Then Lena again, louder this time, "This is insane. Tell him we're not going anywhere." I heard that. So did Ethan. And for the first time, he didn't repeat her words. Because somewhere between control and consequence, reality had started settling in. They lasted 2 nights. That's all it took. The first night they tried to manage it. Extra blankets. Space heaters they found in the garage. Doors left open to circulate what little warmth remained in the house. The second night reality set in. Mountain cold isn't negotiable. By the third morning Ethan called again. Not angry. Tired. "Dad," he said, voice low, "they're leaving." I didn't answer immediately. Because this wasn't the part that mattered. "Good," I said. A long pause followed. Then quieter, "Lena's not happy." I almost smiled. "That's not new," I replied. He exhaled like he wanted to argue, but didn't have the energy anymore. "They said you did this on purpose," he added. "I did," I said. No denial. No softening. Just truth. Another silence. Then carefully, "So, when can I come back?" "Not we. Not they." I noticed that. "You don't come back," I said. That one landed. "Art." "What?" he said, almost a whisper now. "You told me to leave my own house," I reminded him. "You made a decision without me. Now I'm making one without you." In the background I could hear a car door slam. Voices fading. Gravel shifting under tires. They were leaving. But this wasn't over. Because losing access to a house is one thing. Losing your place in someone's life is something else entirely. Ethan didn't call for 3 days. Not a message. Not a text. Nothing. That silence told me more than anything he could have said. Because for the first time in his life, he was sitting with the consequences without someone stepping in to soften them. On the 4th day my phone rang. I looked at the screen. "Ethan." I answered. "Dad," he started, then stopped. No confidence. No attitude. Just hesitation. That was new. "I shouldn't have said that," he finally said. "About you leaving." I let him finish. Didn't interrupt. Didn't help him. Because apologies only matter when they're carried all the way through. "I thought," he continued, struggling now, "I thought it wasn't a big deal. I thought you'd just adjust." Adjust. That word carried years behind it. All the small moments. All the silent compromises. All the times I stepped back so he could feel forward. "I know," I said. And I meant it. That was the problem. He had gotten used to it. "I didn't think you'd actually leave," he added quietly. There it was. Expectation. Not respect. I stepped away from the window and sat down. "Ethan," I said, calm but firm, "you didn't lose the house." Pause. Then confused, "Then what did I lose?" I let that question sit for a second. Because this was the part that mattered most. "You lost access," I said. "Not just to the house. To me." And for the first time since that call, he understood what that meant. A week later I drove back up the mountain. Alone. The road hadn't changed. Same turns. Same trees. Same quiet that used to feel like peace and now felt earned. When I reached the house, I didn't go inside right away. I stood there for a minute looking at it. Nothing broken. Nothing damaged. Just empty. The way it was meant to be. I unlocked the door and stepped in. The system recognized me instantly. He came back. Lights adjusted. The house settled like it had been waiting. I walked through each room slowly. The kitchen. The living room. The hallway Eleanor used to decorate for every season like it mattered more than anything else. Then I stopped. There on the table. A note. Ethan's handwriting. I didn't understand. I thought you'd always stay. I was wrong. I'm sorry. No excuses. No arguments. Just truth. I read it once. Then folded it and placed it back where it was. Because forgiveness isn't something you rush. It's something you let grow, or not. I stepped outside onto the porch as the sun dipped behind the mountains. Cold air. Quiet sky. Peace. Real peace. Not the kind you inherit. The kind you protect. Some people think family means access. It doesn't. It means respect. And when that's gone, so are you.